There is no reason to douche your cooch. Hey guys, it's Alyssa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about coochies, vaginas. Disclaimer, a few. If you are, I don't know what like the age is of like that's okay to be hearing about this, but if you feel that you're too young, get on out. As well as I'm obviously not a medical professional. I don't have any sort of degree in anything medical. This is just what I've learned. So like I said, take it with a grain of salt and consult a physician always before you do anything. So today I'm going to be talking about vaginal health. Do's, don'ts, myths, kind of just everything and anything to an extent, because I could obviously talk about multiple things forever and this video would be insanely long. So I'm going to try and keep it basic as much as I can, as well as there may be some things that you're like, duh, common sense, but it's not common sense to everybody. Things that may seem like common sense to you or I are not to some people, and I'm making this video as an educational video. I have learned a lot about vaginas considering I have one, as well as it may get a little TMI at some point. I don't know, but yeah, this is educational. This is for an educational purpose. I know some people don't have a gynecologist and they go to the interweb to find out things, and highly suggest you get a gynecologist, but whatever. I'm done rambling. I'm just gonna get on into it. Before I say anything, and I'm sure I'll say it again, I just want to give a reminder that everyone's vaginas are different. They are all your own. Like, no vagina is the same, no vagina acts the same. So everything is kind of based upon your own body. You just kind of have to learn your own body and what it tolerates and doesn't tolerate, but there are general rules of do's and don'ts. So the first thing I want to say is that your vagina has a pH balance of usually between 3.8 and 4.5, I believe. Your vagina is pretty acidic, it's just what it is. And if you don't keep your pH balance within that balance, is when you get infections and all sorts of things. There are a lot of different infections. Obviously there's STDs and everything, but the two main common infections are a yeast infection and a bacterial infection. Bacterial vaginosis, or BV. Basically, every woman in their lifetime gets these infections. They are very common. They are nothing to feel ashamed about or weird about. Some people get them more than others. Some people are more prone than others. Just really depends. But they're not anything gross. That's a big stigma, I feel like, usually among men than women. Women know like what it's like. I'm not gonna get into what it is because that's just like a whole separate video. This is just more about like keeping your vagina healthy and, like I said, do's and don'ts and stuff. But I just wanted to clarify that those are two very common infections that people get all the time, and basically you get a yeast infection because of overgrown yeast, and you get bacterial vaginosis because you come into contact with bacteria that throws off your pH balance and you get an infection. And there's other ones, like I said, but those are the two main common ones. So the first thing I want to talk about is douching. Don't do it. I'm sure you've heard of that before. Don't do it. There is no reason to douche your cooch. If you don't know what douching is, look it up, but it's just a way to clean your vagina on the inside, and there is absolutely no reason to do that. Your vagina is self-cleaning. Cleans itself. There is no need to clean it in any way up in there, ever. Do not clean it. I don't care. There's no reason to do so. Moving on. Following that is to not really use scented products. I know people who their vagina is very, it's tough and it can take all of the different types of scents going on and it has no problem with it. I personally, TMI, have a sensitive cooch, okay? Anything throws her off, like literally absolutely anything. If I run out of my body wash and I use just a typical old Suave scented body wash, she's thrown off. Just saying. So like I said, this kind of all depends on your own body and you know your own body, but as a typical rule, you shouldn't be using scented products on your cooch. Nothing with fragrance. So realistically, you're not supposed to wash your cooch at all except with warm water. You're really, technically, when you're in the shower, you're not supposed to use any soap. You're just supposed to use warm water because like we said, the vagina is self-cleaning. Now, I think we've all are just very modern and that sounds gross to us. So we still wash our cooches, not on the inside. Let me preface that again. You're not washing the inside of your cooch. When you are using a body wash, you want to use a mild, like gentle, fragrance-free body wash. I use Dove. I will probably forever use Dove. That is the only body wash I use and the only one that my cooch trusts, okay? But all of those like brands that are targeted for your vagina and saying like, oh, it's gonna smell like roses and flowers and it's gonna bring your pH balance to this, blah, blah. No, don't trust that, don't use it. Just know, your coochie is not supposed to smell like flowers. Your vagina is literally supposed to smell like a vagina. Everyone has their own scents. I will throw that out there as well, okay? Not everybody has the same scent. Everyone smells different. But a vagina does not smell like lavender and roses. It just doesn't. And it's not supposed to. And if it was supposed to, then it would. So don't try and make it smell like strawberries, okay? It just doesn't. Now, if it's smelling bad, that's a different story. You need to go to the doctor, but that's another topic. As well as with the unscented, this goes for everything, not just body wash. Like, you don't want to use scented tampons or scented pads. I'm sure those exist. I don't even really know. Nothing scented on your coochie, okay? Another thing is discharge. A lot of people find the topic of discharge very taboo. A lot of men think it's gross. Even women think it's gross. Like, they don't like talking about it. They're embarrassed that there's like discharge in their underwear. Discharge is normal. And this is one of those things where every woman is different. Some people have more discharge, some people have less. It just really depends on your body, and it's something that you need to figure out because discharge is what tells you what is going on with your vagina, okay? That is the tell-all. That's what tells you, amongst other things, but the main thing that tells you if she's okay or if she's not okay. And so it's very dependent on you. You know how much discharge you usually have and what it looks like, what it smells like, because like I said, everyone's different, everyone smells different, everything is different. But that's something that you need to figure out. That way you can figure out if something is different or not okay. I will put up a diagram on screen of a typical what your discharge is supposed to look like. But this wheel, I love this wheel. I think this wheel is amazing, and I think everyone should have this on their phone if they come in contact with any situation. It gives you basically everything you need to know, all different types of shades and what they mean. So clear is healthy discharge, pregnancy, ovulation, hormonal imbalances. The hormonal imbalances kind of is weird to me. If it's clear, you're in the clear. I mean, come on. Gray is bacterial vaginosis. White, healthy discharge or yeast infection, because it also depends on the consistency. If it's white but like really thick and almost like cottage cheese, that's a yeast infection. Compared to if it's not like that texture and it's white, you're fine. Pink, cervical bleeding, vaginal irritation, implantation bleeding. Yellow-green, sexually transmitted infection, and red is obviously, you know, your period and, you know, whatever else they're saying about it. And this link, I will put it down below. It goes into more details of like each of the types of discharge and talking about it and talking about the odors as everything. Next thing, we're gonna talk about sex a little bit. Pee before and after sex. For the love of God. Some people don't know that you should pee after sex. Some people think it's only after sex. And while that is a little bit true, depends on your body. If you are prone to getting UTIs, you should pee before and after. And the reasoning with the whole peeing before after sex type of ordeal is bacteria. So people have bacteria. Your body is covered in bacteria. So if you don't pee prior to sex, the way that you can get a UTI is since your bladder is full, bacteria comes in contact with the bladder, the urine, and it starts multiplying or something. Like I said, that's more if you're prone to UTIs. The main thing is after sex, because once all that bacteria comes into contact with you and you don't pee that shit out, is when you get a UTI. UTIs are not fun. I will be a person to tell my little personal information. Only times I have ever gotten a UTI was because I did not pee after sex. Swear to God. I have peed every single time after I had sex, and there were 2 times that I did not, and I got a UTI. And they're not fun. Just gonna throw that out there. Pee before and after sex, especially after. Following that is to just practice safe sex. It's kind of a given. If you practice safe sex, you are less likely to get, you know, STDs, you're less likely to get, you know, other infections, because you can get BV from, you know, having sex, unprotected sex, because that's bacteria and BV is caused by bacteria, as well as, it's kind of taboo to talk about, but if you are having sex and you like to do booty stuff, this may be common sense, I said, but you know, some people don't know. Make sure you're doing those things appropriately in terms of your vagina. So if you are a person who does anal, okay, do not, please do not, right after, you know, doing anal, have regular vaginal intercourse without cleaning, putting on a condom, whatever the case is, because now you are contaminating your coochie and you're gonna throw out that pH balance and you will get a yeast infection, or you're gonna get some sort of infection going on. As well as, even, that's with anything, if you're using a toy, if you're using fingers, anything that you are doing that comes in contact with your booty, make sure that it is clean or wrapped up in some way before going to your vagina, or just don't even do that order, you know, do the opposite order, do vagina then butt, you know, just keep those things separate, because that is how you get infections. Which, following that, wipe front to back. We are taught that at a very young age to wipe front to back, because if you wipe back to front, you will be bringing your booty stuff to your coochie stuff, and you will get a yeast infection. Speaking of yeast infections, I'm gonna get a little bit more into them. There's a lot of ways to prevent yeast infections, like I said, wipe front to back, etc., etc. But also, you do not want to wear tight clothing, and I know that's kind of like impossible for us ladies nowadays. You're supposed to wear like 100% cotton breathable underwear and wear not tight clothes, not tight jeans, not tight booty shorts. It's not practical, I will say. I don't follow that rule. And some people are prone to getting them because of that, and if that's you, then you'll have to tweak that. I don't notice that I get that because of me wearing tight clothing, but I know people do. As well as, do not sit in wet clothing. Your bathing suit in the summertime, don't sit in the wet bathing suit all day. Bacteria and yeast and everything loves to thrive on a moist environment. I know nobody likes that word, but your coochie, if it's moist for a long period of time, if it's wet and not dry for a long period of time, you are going to develop an infection. Also, if you are prone to yeast infections, what you can do is take probiotics. Also eat a lot of yogurt. Your typical person shouldn't really need to take a probiotic unless you have, you know, a gut health issue, or like I said, you're prone to yeast infections. But if you're not, you really shouldn't need to take a probiotic. I know that's like a rave right now, is to take probiotics, but if you are prone to yeast infections, yogurt and probiotics. You need the good bacteria to fight off the bad bacteria, and you get that from probiotics. Another thing is to try as best as you can to sleep naked or without underwear. I kind of thought everybody did this, but apparently not. I never sleep with underwear on. You won't catch me dead sleeping with underwear on. If you aren't a person that can sleep naked because, I don't know, that's just not your vibe, or, you know, your parents may come in, you know, in the morning or something, totally understand. But just don't wear underwear, and then wear like a breathable pair of shorts or pants, like something breathable, because you have to think, it's kind of like the same concept, like who goes to bed with a bra on? Nobody. I mean, some people do. I've seen people do it, but your average girl, okay, no one likes wearing a bra. We literally confine our boobs all day. When we get home, we take our bra off because we want it to be relaxed out of a bra. When we go to bed, that's not even comfortable. Your vagina is enclosed basically all day in underwear and your jeans or your pants or your shorts or whatever. So when you're going to bed, that is the best time to just let her be. Let her breathe. Do not confine her. Just let her be. Next is to not put anything on or up there without consulting a doctor. Don't just Google and assume like, oh, this person said I can put this type of lotion, or I don't know what people do, on my cooch, or I can put this up there. just don't without consulting somebody, please. Like I said, your vagina likes to stay at a specific pH balance, and if you f with that, she ain't gonna be happy. And putting different things up there, on there, can really mess with that, so please consult somebody before you do so. Following that, regular gynecologist visits. That is the best way, in my opinion, to have a healthy vagina and keep up with your vaginal health and just make sure everything's good, is to have a regular physician, a regular gynecologist that you see on a yearly basis to get everything checked, get your pap smears, just make sure that everything is good, as well as it's always good to obviously have somebody to go to if you do feel like there's something wrong, and you can go see them. Which, following that for my last thing, is going to be don't ignore any symptoms. It's very common, mainly among men, but women too, to ignore things that don't seem like a big deal. If you're having a different color discharge than normal and you may think, oh, maybe my vagina is just a little bit off today, that's possible. But if it's persisting for X amount of days, definitely go see somebody. Don't just think that it'll go away on its own, because it probably won't. You're gonna need medication, you're gonna need whatever you're gonna need for whatever is going on. If you're feeling any sort of irritation, or inflammation, literally anything, it doesn't even have to just be discharge. If something just feels off, or you're getting super itchy, or it's burning even, like anything that just feels a little off, please just go consult a gynecologist, because odds are something's going on, and it's not good to prolong those things. If you prolong them, it's gonna make it worse. You can even affect your fertility if you prolong certain things. So do not prolong them. Go see somebody, please. Also, one last thing, have a healthy, well-balanced diet. That's kind of in drink water. That's also just a really big thing on keeping your vagina healthy, and having, you know, good vaginal health is to just keep yourself healthy, and your vagina will reflect that. But yeah, that is basically kind of all of my, I don't want to say tips, but just do's, don'ts, myths, things to keep in mind, things to do, I don't know, whatever, about vaginas and vaginal health. Again, not a doctor. Please consult a doctor if you have any problems. Don't consult Google. But yeah, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already, and comment down below. I don't know, what do you comment about a vagina video? And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Vaginas really need to stop being like such a taboo topic, you know? Like, they're just vaginas.